silly. What? She's dead. We're reading her will.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Smyser, and you're watching Attorneys React.
When the destiny of a great fortune is at stake, men's greed spreads like a poison in the bloodstream. Uncles, nephews, cousins, in-laws of increasingly tenuous connection. The old woman's most distant relations had come foraging out of the woodwork.
This is Madame D's last will and testament. It consists of a general tontine drawn up before the event of her husband's death 46 years ago, in combination with 635 amendments, notations, corrections, and letters of wishes executed during the subsequent decades.
Sure, she had full capacity. She knew exactly what she was doing. Theoretically, amendments should just change, like, I name Brittany as my trustee. And then 2 years later, I'm like, oh, no, not Brittany, David. Okay, I named David as my trustee. But then oftentimes people don't remember so they'll change something else or they won't mean to change it, but you know what I mean? Like, and so you end up with a lot of messiness. Like when I hit like maybe 4 amendments, I just do a whole new trust.
To my esteemed friend, who comforted me in my later years and brought sunshine into the life of an old woman who thought that she would never be happy again, Monsieur Gustave H., I bequeath, bestow, and devise, free of all taxation and with full and absolute fiduciary entitlement, the painting known as Boy with Apple.
Wow. Who's Gustav H?
I'm afraid that's me, darling.
So, by the way, number one, that's like Wes Anderson, blah, 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 right? Let's start that. Like full fiduciary something, like that's not applicable. But the tax-free is. And why that's important, especially for personal property, like a painting, is if you have to pay, if you're receiving a gift that's not liquid and you have to pay estate tax on it, how are you going to pay it? Right? It would have to come out of your own pocket. So the remainder of the estate takes away from everybody else's portion of it.
Agreed?
Not agreed.
Not agreed?
Not agreed. Can I ask you a question, Vilmos?
Yes, Dimitri.
Who are you working for?
Beg your pardon?
Who are you working for? I thought you're supposed to be our lawyer.
Well, in point of fact, I'm the executor of the estate. In this particular situation, I represent the deceased.
This is really important. I get that question a lot. People get confused and families say, well, no, you represent us as a family. And it's like, no, I represent the executor, the trustee. You know, if you're worried about what you're going to get, you should get your own attorney. I forgot about that scene, but yeah. So in this case, it's a little bit muddy because this attorney is the executor, but typically I represent the executor, right? So I represent the executor, the trustee, and it's my job to instruct them on their fiduciary duty, how you administer this trust, right? What are the rules? What's the notice you have to give? But then the beneficiaries may have different, right? They have different interests. And sometimes your executor is also a beneficiary. And so like an executor has a responsibility to pay all the creditors, but like a beneficiary doesn't want creditors paid, right? The beneficiary wants more left in the estate. And it gets very tricky. I get that question a lot. It's kind of what I said before. You can change your trust and it should be changed, right? As your situation changes. But the more amendments you get, more one-off amendments you get, the more complicated it gets. So at a certain point, again, maybe 4 or 5 amendments, just do a restatement. Just do a whole new trust with the same name. And that way you just have the one document, you know, and then you'll amend that from there.